Well, welcome everyone. Thank you so much for spending your time with us today. My name is Courtney Berelsheimer, and I am Program Director at Blackwing Foundation and a former classroom teacher. And I am so excited to be joined by a very special guest today, a real student who has experienced our lettering series. Raegan, do you want to say hi real quick and where you're tuning in from?
Of course. Hi, my name's Raegan. I'm a fourth grade student at John McCandless STEM Charter in California.
Amazing. So today we're going to be digging into handwriting, lettering, and why it matters more than ever. So let's get into it. Today's presentation is proudly sponsored by the Blackwing Foundation. We are a foundation dedicated to art and music education. We're a nonprofit based out of Central California. Our mission is to expand arts education and access by empowering schools with programs necessary to support, and we support and offer our own free creative programming, and that's what we're going to be sharing with you today. Everything we do is completely free for educators, and that includes the lettering series that you're going to learn today. And if you check out our website, you can check out our other programming. We want students to have access to creative learning no matter what school they're in or what their teacher's background is. So let's dive in to Pathways to Creativity. So, what is Pathways to Creativity? That is our umbrella program. And under that umbrella, there are multiple pathways. We've developed this out of a real need. When I left the classroom, I had so many teachers coming to me and saying, I want to teach art, but I don't have enough time to plan. I can't find anything that's good. And we realized there was this massive gap. We also sponsor a local program here in the Central Valley, and we found out there was a 500 classroom wait list for their art program. And it just hurt us so much that so many kids were not getting art. So we really developed this out of a need, and we're in no way trying to replace the real artists coming to the classroom. We just want to empower more teachers to incorporate the arts more often. It should be a daily thing, not just after school, not just a special Thursday. So that is why we've created Pathways to Creativity. We know you educators are exhausted at the end of the day trying to research what lesson you're going to do. We are doing that for you. We have vetted all of our content, and it's making it easier to bring art into your schedule, whether it's 15 minutes a day or a block of time, you can fit it in. And as I mentioned, every series is free. You don't even have to enter an email address to access it. So we know that creativity is what we need to equip students with for the future. We don't even know what jobs they're going to have in the future. So we need creative students to become innovative and propel our future. So let's quickly meet our speakers. I'm Courtney Berelsheimer, as I mentioned. I taught 5th and 6th grade at an art-focused school in my early years, and that experience showed me firsthand how the arts influence and inspire kids in every subject. And then I shifted to middle school math, and I got my master's in STEM education. So I really do sit at the intersection of academics and creativity. We know that those are essential for students. And when I left the classroom, I knew this need and I wanted to help solve that problem. And then Raegan is here to give us the perspective that matters the most, the student side. So I'll hand it over to her to tell us a little bit about herself.
Hi, my name is Raegan. I'm a fourth grade student at John McCandless. And my favorite sports are soccer, swimming, and I like a lot of football. I think some of my favorite hobbies are crocheting, playing games, and I think that's kind of it. But my favorite foods are cucumbers with lime and salt and cucumbers with tahini. That's probably my favorite. I can't beat it.
Amazing. Well, thank you so much for being here with us. We're excited to hear your perspective. And so let's go into our first poll question of seeing who we have here with us. Those of you tuning in, what is your role in education? Are you an administrator here looking for resources for your teacher? Are you in a specific grade span? Are you in another part of education? If so, drop it in the box so that we can learn where you're coming from. All this data helps us, make sure our EdWebs are meeting our audience. So please submit your vote. Look at this.
Oh my goodness.
Love it. All these different, we got specialists, professors tuning in. Great. Well, we have something for everybody today. Let's see. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and close that poll. You can keep dropping in if you're an other so we can learn about you, but let's go ahead and start diving in. So we today are focusing on our lettering series. This series is a collaboration of Blackwing Foundation and Heather Martinez from Let's Letter Together. Heather is a professional lettering artist and educator, and she brings her expertise and a great energy and warmth to every single lesson. We built this series because we saw a real need. Teachers wanted to teach handwriting, but they didn't have a trusted, ready to go resource. Or I remember learning handwriting and it being really boring. So we are trying to bring some energy to that. And this series treats handwriting as an art form. It's focused, and the students get to have a creative outlet that builds fine motor skills and attention. In such a screen-driven world, we believe in the power of putting pencil to paper, and we want to help students with that skill. So let's take us into our second poll question is, how often do your students practice handwriting or lettering in the classroom? So go ahead and poll. Raegan, how often did you do handwriting or lettering in the classroom before this?
Before this, very often in third grade, but in fourth grade, we didn't do it at all. So third grade, we would do it like kind of, I think, twice every day, like after lunch and then after third recess. And we had these but it was cursive. So it wasn't like print, but it was really fun because you get to sit with your friends and like do it with them. And there were like assigned pages to do. So it was pretty fun. And
Good, I'm glad. So we want to just keep building on that. I know often cursive is the focus, but our pathways currently have 3 different programs. So we can see here in the chat, we do have quite a few that are doing it daily, which is amazing. But then we've also got some rare or never. So we're going to help meet all those needs. So I'm going to go ahead and close the poll here. And every lesson with Heather starts with a warm up. So we're going to do just that. Maybe your Monday, you're trying to get some energy to get through the rest of the day. So we're going to go ahead and do a warm up with Heather. So you at home, we can't see you, but we would love for you to join in on this warm up. And this is straight from a video from one of our lettering lessons.
All right, let's start with a physical warm up. Holding 2 of your writing instruments, it can be anything, your pencil and something else you're going to write with, one in one hand, one in each hand, we'll move our fingers up and down. And then maybe when you get to the end, you can flip it. And then notice how our hands stay in the same place, but our thumb, index finger, and middle fingers move the pencils up and down. Now try that flip again and keep going. Now that you've done that for a while, reverse the direction. Okay, now this is kind of advanced, but what I want you to do is try crawling up one pencil with your fingers while crawling down with the other and then flipping. Can you do it? Oops. So up on one side, down on the other. There we go. It's sort of like rubbing your belly and patting your head at the same time. Can you do that?
Thanks for joining in, but we just like to show that just like athletes have to stretch before a game, we need to warm up our hands before handwriting. And Heather's adamant about it. And every video starts with a quick little warm up like that. You'll even in Heather's videos see her teach kids how to write with both hands, not because they have to, but it helps build empathy and really makes kids slow down and pay attention to what their hands are actually doing. And I know in our tech driven world, many teachers are saying that our kids cannot write anymore. And we've got to start with that muscle and building it. So let's go ahead and take a look at what a sample lesson looks like. This one is a sample lesson from Letter Like a Graphic Novelist. That is our second installment of the lettering series. And as you can see, you are going to get everything with the lesson. You're going to get a description. You'll be told how long the video is. In this lesson, the students are going to learn how to write like an architect. And they even make their own zine in this series, which Heather walks the students through how to make it themselves. All you do is have to copy the packet and she will even get it set up for them. But it's just super cool that they have a takeaway from their whole lessons of writing like an architect to a graphic novelist. And you can show it and they really get a finished feel. Raegan, we know graphic novels are a huge hit. Do you have a favorite graphic novel?
I have two. Okay, so my first one is I love Anne Frank's Diary, and I would read it all the time, but it was hard because there were no pictures. And so I found a graphic novel, and so that was one of my favorites. And then my other favorite is, I think it's called it's Ghost Book by Remy Lai. It's a really good book about how this girl sees ghosts, but her dad doesn't believe her. So she's trying to show her dad that she doesn't believe them either, but when really she's fighting all these like demons and ghosts. It's really cool.
I love it. Well, I know my own kids love graphic novels as well. So how fun for students to learn how to letter like a graphic novel themselves. There's storyboards within our zine, so you can carry these lessons into having students do their own creative writing stories, just built into also practicing their handwriting. So this is our next slide. We're going to look at what a lettering video looks like. This is a sample. It's just kind of a highlight reel, and we're going to let it speak for itself of what each video consists of.
Hi, lettering friends. Heather here. Today we're going to learn how to letter like graphic novelists based on the architect style we learned previously. We'll be using a wedge nib marker like a Mr. Sketch to make bold letters just like you see in comic books. So be sure you have your handouts, I mean your zine, a wedge nib marker, and a sharp pencil if you need to take notes. Remember the architect lettering style we learned in the previous video? We'll be using these letter forms as a foundation to write like graphic novelists. When you draw vertical strokes, it's going to be very thin, and when you draw horizontal strokes, it's going to be thicker. If your letters don't look perfect, don't worry. Each mistake, if you look at it and remember, will help you improve. You're training your hand to get stronger and steadier. Do you remember the letter J? Starts with the bottom ellipse, and then we add a stem. And for the letter U, we start with the stem, the bottom half of the ellipse, and then another stem. Great job. You've just learned how to make bold, strong letters just like a graphic novelist. By practicing, you'll master this style and use it for your own stories. Next time, we'll learn how to draw speech bubbles and create simple layouts for your graphic novel. I can't wait to see what you create. Happy lettering!
So as you can see, Heather goes through every stroke, every technique. It's teacher paced and easy for students to pause and students to work right along with her. You don't need to know anything about lettering for these lessons. Heather does it all for you. So we're going to go ahead and now hear from our student here joining, Raegan. She has done our intro to lettering, which is our first pathway. And I'm going to go ahead and hand it over to her to tell us a little bit about what she liked doing with the lettering series.
Okay, what I liked about it was the vocabulary, how she went step by step through it with me. I liked the videos because it was easy to just like find it on YouTube and like a playlist and just watch them. And I also thought that it was really easy because all you needed was the printout and a pencil.
I love it. What was hard?
The hard part was probably I don't even know.
Well, that's good. I mean, Heather really does break it down. She goes into how to hold the pencil and the correct grip. She shows you and just she goes over like if you're a lefty or a righty to really show the different really inclusive to all the different styles out there and breaks it down for the students. Was there anything that surprised you? Did you feel like your handwriting got better?
So my handwriting did improve from what it was before. And I did like how, again, you only needed a pencil and the printout.
And did you often do them as like a big block of time, or did you like to break it up as like, okay, today I'm just going to do one sheet? What was the best way to do it for you?
I think the first like 2 or 3 days, I did like one video a day, and then I think towards like the end of the week, I did like 2 or 3 videos a day because like I didn't really have a lot going on.
I love it. And do you feel like it's something that you could just do again?
Yeah.
That
Like
is the beauty of this too, is that it's not just a one and done.
Yeah, because like if I need to refresh like just the memory of like the vocabulary in my head, I could just go through like the video that had the vocabulary in it, like the specific vocabulary that I like need to remember.
Perfect. Yes, and I know we currently to say that this pathway is targeted for third grade and up, but that doesn't mean it's only for third grade. We have high schoolers doing this all the time. We've been sent pictures of leadership classes doing the lettering series, and then in the lettering series, you learn how to hack your pencil, which is this crazy contraption, and they learn how to write really big letters for posters. So really it can be transformed into so many other subjects just by learning how to do the lettering. And I know in my classroom, I absolutely loved having my students make posters. Is that something you guys do a lot at school at all?
Sometimes like making posters. Sometimes we would usually like make cards for the teacher.
That's great. That's one of our extension projects as well that I'll get into down the road that we have built into the series. But it's really all about giving kids the confidence to then want to write their poster, come up with their big letter heading. It's almost like you're making your own font. Did you find yourself adding any little special flares to your letters at all, Raegan?
Like before or after?
Either.
So I think yeah, because usually before definitely because you know how like when you're writing cursive and you do that like cursive G? If I was writing print, I would do a cursive G. I don't know why. It's just like built into my like brain. I have to do it, or else it like feels wrong.
I love it. I love it. Well, what's great is it really got you to think about your handwriting, to look at your handwriting, and that is what this series is all about. Slowing down, picking up the pencil and making something with your hands. Taking notes by hand, we know, is a great way to get the information to stick. So thank you so much, Raegan, for sharing with us. Anything else to add about the lettering series that you did?
I also do think that doing it now was a lot more helpful since we are doing like an essay in class. So I think that was really helpful for like the writing.
Absolutely. So that you can be more efficient when you're writing and not losing your thought. Great. Well, we're going to have Raegan still chiming in throughout the presentation, but thank you for that firsthand insight into intro to lettering. So
Of
let's go
course.
ahead and take a look at our series highlights. So under the series, we're going to walk through the 3 different pathways. We have our first pathway, the intro to lettering, which is what Raegan just spoke about. All you need is a handout, the handout template. It walks you through each lesson and a pencil. The students will hack their pencil at some point, but all you need here is a marker and some tape and a rubber band. So lots of common supply lists. But this intro to lettering really goes into the foundational skills. They start with the anatomy of a letter. They move into warm-up exercises. They work through uppercase and lowercase letter forms, numbers, and punctuation. And it all builds on itself. One of my favorite things is when they learn how to hack the pencil, because the kids go crazy for it because they then know how to make their letters proportional based on understanding the letters. So then when they make big posters, they're legible because they understand how the letters relate to each other. You can also do our projects at the end where they do handwritten cards. They can embellish their letters. It's so fun. And all of this lives completely free on our website. Everything's printable. You could have a sub run it. You could, with no extra prep to you, you could have it be a great may-do activity for a student to pull out and work on. I know a lot of teachers' testing is coming up. This is a great quiet activity for your early testing finishers to work on their handwriting. Our second pathway under the umbrella is Letter Like a Graphic Novelist. Now, Letter Like a Graphic Novelist does build off the foundational skills of Introduction to Learning. So you really do need to do Introduction to Lettering before you jump into Letter Like a Graphic Novelist, because it relies on that foundation. Same thing, it's just a zine handout that you copy, and the students end up making their zine in the first lesson. Most of the time, all they need is a pencil or just a wedge nib marker. And there on the screen, you can see samples of the handouts. They learn how to make, power words that pop off the page, and making their own storyboard and comic books. So it's just a really, really fun and loved pathway. And then we just launched our cursive pathway. This went live this last month. And Intro to Cursive does not build on the other 2 pathways, so you could just dive into cursive if you wanted. Of course, we'd love for you to do them all, but if you are, especially those 3rd grade teachers out there who need to get cursive taught, you've got this right here. Same process is that it's just a handout template that you print for the kids, and all they need is a pencil. And what's really unique about it is that Heather teaches it by letter families. So they're working on the same stroke on the same day versus just going through the alphabet. Raegan, when you learned cursive, what do you remember about learning cursive?
I remember where we would do I don't really know how to explain it. Okay. We would we would have the books, and when you're doing it, I think what was kind of similar to what Heather does is they would have these sayings for specific letters. I don't remember them, but I do remember the reading them and looking at the pictures that they would add to the phrases.
I love it. Now, teacher usually do those along with you, or was it kind of an independent thing that you would just go and look at the book?
It was like an independent thing that you would get to do with like your friends. Like just go sit down on the carpet and like have your pencil and your book and just like kind of lay down or sit and just write with your friends and talk.
I love it. It can
Yeah,
be social as well. But what I love about having Heather in our videos is that she walks the students through each
yeah.
letter form, goes through every single stroke. And what is unique is that it's it's a letter, she uses, italic cursive, which doesn't have a ton of loops, so it's actually an easier form of cursive for students to learn, and she goes over those different tricky connections of how to connect the letters, because oftentimes students learn the letters, but then they don't know how to connect them, so Heather really puts it into real world application. And as we mentioned so many times, is that all these pathways have really simple supplies. We know teachers are stretched thin with supplies, and we've got the free PDF download and a pencil, and that will get it done. And as I said, stick around to the end, and we would love to send you some pencils for you to do these lessons with your students. So all of that is found on our website. We also have a linked supply list. So if you needed to actually, you want the links of where do I get, some markers or pencils, or what do I need, some poster board to do the accompanying projects. We've linked it all for you on your website so that it's easy right there. So that you can just be on your way, add it to cart. It's also, if you wanted to utilize donors choose, a parent wish list, stuff like that, it's already linked for you, and how many you need for the lessons. The lettering series is pretty simple, but if you do check out our art series, those have some more complex supplies, but still simplified per grade level. It's linked there as well. So a great resource to have to get those supplies. And then also on our website is that every lesson has a slide deck. You can just put this in Google Classroom. We have everything live within Google because we know so many schools use that platform. So the slide deck walks the students through everything that they need. This is a sample from our graphic novelist pathway. It has all the vocabulary linked in there. We have Kahoots, Quizlets, which I'll get into, and the videos are already embedded. So students, you can just, if Google Classroom is something you utilize, you can post this slide deck there and tell them exactly what slide they should be on, and they can be working through it. It can be self-paced, or this can be done whole class. So it's really there for utilize however it works best in your classroom. And we've tried to think of every way a teacher would use these. And we did build this off of a lot of teacher feedback from our pilot. We didn't have slide decks originally, and one of our pilot teachers was putting everything into the slide deck so that she could put it up on her television for her class. And so we went ahead and made that for you for every single lesson. And then we also have all of our lessons are on a YouTube playlist. So if you just wanted to go straight to the YouTube playlist and do the videos that way, that's also. Raegan, I think this was how you utilized it. Am I correct? Perfect. So she was just able to utilize the YouTube playlist, remembered where she was, and she could just continue following along. Some teachers will do 15 to 20 minutes of designated time of lettering. Others use it as a finishing activity, or how many times you either get done with a lesson or you got out of an assembly late and you can't get your lesson in before recess and you have that awkward 15-20 minutes. This is a great thing to have in your back pocket to pull out to utilize within the classroom.
I do like that. Like, if you don't know what video you're on, you can look at your pages, and whatever page number that is, that's what lesson you're on. So the page number and the lessons match up. That's what I really like about it.
That is a great point to point out. Thank you so much. Yes, we try to make this user friendly. not having 10 hands shoot up of asking what page are we on. If they know what lesson it is, they can figure out what page it is. So that's great. We've also gone in and created Quizlet resources. Quizlet is a great source for practicing vocabulary. We went up and set up so that you can do the match version, you can do learn, you can do flashcards. We've also put them into just Google Slides if you want to make a word wall based on the vocabulary. And then we also have made Kahoots. Raegan, you want to tell us about Kahoots and what you love about Kahoots?
Kahoots are so fun. We do them all the time in class, whether it's quizzes, Fun Friday, or just our teacher letting us have fun. It's a good thing for students to, I don't really know how to explain it. It's a good site for students to answer questions, get them right or wrong. And I think it's nice because a lot of this time you can because there is a setting where if you have a question, the teacher can either have it on their screen or they could put it on the student screen. And I think what I really like about that is that we don't have to, if we're trying to get first place in just a fun Kahoot, we don't have to waste time by looking up at the screen and then looking back down and answering. I think it's just good to look at one screen. And then my other favorite part is the customization of your characters and the island that you get to make in Kahoot, your class island, with the achievements you can unlock from playing different game modes.
I love it. Perfect. It's so fun. And you know what? There's a lot of vocabulary in handwriting or art that you can then learn, but then you can also apply down the road. Did you have an aha moment there, Raegan?
I did forget to say that you can make your own Kahoots instead of trying to find one that just has some wrong answers. You can actually make the theme, put the questions in, and then put the correct answers. I think
Perfect.
that's one
I
of my
love it. So
favorite things about
teachers out there, you're hearing it firsthand. Kids love Kahoots. So we've got it already utilized and ready for you. And you can do it self-paced or whole class. Thank you for telling us, Raegan, about that.
Thanks.
Then we also have that we are aligned to the National Core Art Standards, that we are having students creating, presenting, responding, connecting, and Common Core does not include a requirement for handwriting or cursive instruction, which is pretty crazy, but yet they're required to write often in displaying their knowledge. So we do really feel that it is an important skill to have. Many states have made their own adaptations requiring legible print with proper spacing. And for a long time, cursive wasn't being mandated anywhere. We're starting to see the tables turn here. So that's why we are so excited to have launched cursive, but then to have these other two pathways to be utilized as well. So we know that there's a gap right now, and we know teachers know that it matters, but there hasn't been a lot of structure to support to teach it. So we're trying to help make that easy by utilizing our lettering series. Handwriting and the Common Core. I know in California, we're bringing it back here, and that we're, as I said before, we're starting to see it in more classrooms, and more teachers just know the need. How many teachers have said, my kids can't hold a pencil? And that is something that is, the muscle memory that we've really got to build, and we've got to get students getting that strength within their hands. And that's what we're trying to help solve for teachers. And we have cursive making a comeback. Since 2024, 25 states have passed legislation requiring cursive instruction in public schools. So that is why we really felt the need to come out with our cursive pathway. We do also have the plan within our lettering series to build 2 other pathways. It's going to go into creative styles and then eventually into brush lettering. But these 3 pathways really are the backbone of handwriting and lettering to then send kids into those next pathways. Teachers are being asked right now to teach cursive and they haven't taught it in years, or were never trained. So that is another reason to utilize our pathways. We've got it ready to go step by step, and you're not starting from scratch. So we're going to go into our next poll. Which pathway are you most excited to implement? Are you going to start with Intro to Lettering? Raegan, which one are you looking into doing next?
I think the introduction to cursive, because in 3rd grade we did do lots of cursive, but I think that it just wasn't like enough, and there wasn't like enough teacher help with the cursive. And I think that the introduction to cursive with Heather going step by step would be a lot of fun and a lot of help.
Love it. Well, I can't wait to check back with you and see after you've done it. So look, we've got lots of people excited about all of them. So thank you very much. Let's go ahead and take a close out and look at our accompanying projects. So not just the worksheets. You can extend this in so many ways. You can have your kids write a handwritten card for maybe it's a holiday. We also have a pangram, so fun, where students use every single letter in the alphabet to make a sentence. It really gets the kids creative and thinking, and Heather walks them through a pangram, and we have all the resources on our website as well. You can have your students, I've got an example of a word cloud cluster here where they can write everything that they love about themselves. I mean, this is a great back to school activity here of getting to learn about your classmates and, get students' work up on the walls. And then, as I mentioned before, the pencil hack, we can get students making big posters and banners with our pencil hack. I wish I'd had this when I was a leadership teacher. We would have to spend weeks going over what a good poster looks like so that people can read and understand what we're advertising. And, utilizing this would have been such a game changer. So hopefully there's some leadership teacher or elective teachers out there could utilize this. Is there a project you want to try, Raegan?
I would like to make a pangram. It looks really interesting and fun.
Yeah, it's so fun, getting you thinking in a different way. So where is all of this? Well, it is all on our website. So we're going to play a video here real quick that's going to show you how to navigate our website and where you can get everything. So we'll let you watch this so you can see where to utilize it. Great. So everything we've shown you today is free and live at blackwingfoundation.org. That video was made before Cursive has launched, but Cursive is on there. It is live. In all 3 pathways, all the slide decks, the YouTube videos, supply list, it's all there waiting for you. No account needed, no paywall, no enter your email. Just go there and use it. Also, while you're looking on there, check out our art series. We have art lessons for grades 1 through 6 currently. And then stay tuned. We have so many other pathways in development that we will be doing upcoming EdWebs on as well. You can join our newsletter, and we're always emailing out about what we're developing. But I'm talking architecture, I'm talking poetry, I'm talking art in math. Lots of exciting stuff coming down the road with our pathways to creativity. So that is how to navigate our website. And I want to know from you, what is the biggest barrier you face when teaching handwriting? Is it the lack of time in the schedule? Is it the lack of high quality resources? Students aren't interested, maybe, or other. We'd love to hear in the chat. Are there other needs or holes that we can help develop resources to? We would love for you to share with us. Raegan, do you feel like the lessons felt like the right length?
Definitely. I think they were the perfect amount of time to fit between like recess and like dismissal, or like recess, and because my schedule on Mondays is choir, recess, lunch, and then our other recess, and then we have like about a 20-30 minute gap in between for like our to like until PE. So I think that these are good enough to put in between that short amount of time that we have.
Perfect. And the bonus is you get to be creative while doing it. So thank you so much. Thank you everyone who voted. This is exactly why we've designed this program, because every single barrier you're naming is something that we are thinking about and we're trying to solve. So we really appreciate your feedback. And so we are going to go ahead and get into our Q&A session where we answer some questions. And then, as I said, at the end, we have a pencil giveaway. So stay tuned with us to get your class pack of Blackwing pencils so that your students can start lettering tomorrow. That's the great thing about these resources, is that you could start tomorrow. One of my favorite compliments I've ever received on our Pathways to Creativity was a teacher said, "Wait, did a teacher make this? Because it actually makes sense." And that is what we stand behind, is that Pathways to Creativity was made for educators by educators. So let's go ahead and take it to the floor and see what questions we have. So make sure if you have a question, you're putting it in the question box. That is where we're going to be taking our questions from. And also you can see at the below, we've got QR codes for our different social media, YouTube, stuff like that. So you can be scanning while I'm answering questions. And then we will get to the moment you're waiting for, is how to get those pencils. So looking at some audience questions, what age of students do the range of lessons work for? So as I mentioned, we target it for 3rd grade and up, but it's really adaptable. And just because it doesn't mean intro to lettering should be done in 3rd grade and graphic novels in 4th grade, you can dive in. At any grade level, we have a ton of high school students actually utilizing them. And I saw in the comments someone saying, hey, we could have our students do their projects using a graphic novel and presenting their learning that way. And that is absolutely why we want lettering in the classroom, is because it is a great way to get creative and for students to show their learning of different topics, but by utilizing the lettering and handwriting. Let's see.
I see a question right here. It says, how many total lessons are in each pathway?
Oh, good question. So there's they vary by pathway. I'd have to go in and look again, but Intro to Lettering is a little more extensive because it's really based on the foundation. And then Graphic Novel is shorter. And then our cursive is also a meatier length, but you can go ahead. But the videos, each video is really only 10 to 15 minutes long. So even though there might be a lot of lessons, it's not necessarily a ton of time necessarily. So great question there.
I think in the intro to lettering, there's either 9 or 13 videos. I can't remember. But I
And
think
there's
they'll
also different kind of parts that you can break it apart in as well. So really it's teachers can go through and implement it how they think is best.
yeah, time ranges from in those videos from 10 to like 25 minutes.
Great. And let's see, great question. Do you have a suggestion for helping middle school and high school students with handwriting when the whole class does not need the instruction? What's great about this series is it's really can pick up from wherever your skill level is. I know I have done this myself, and my handwriting improved even though I didn't necessarily feel like my handwriting needed to improve because there's just so many techniques in it. So you can definitely utilize this as a may-do activity for certain students, but I really wouldn't shy away from letting everyone try it. I think everyone will take something away from the lessons.
I was wondering because I saw one of these questions. It said, how does the handwriting strengthen learning and memory from brain research?
Oh my gosh, there's tons of research on it. And Heather, even in the video, talks about how when you're putting your pencil to paper, you're making a connection in your brain. There's tons of research out there that you can look. I don't want to quote something just on air right now without, pulling up the correct source, but you can dig around. There's so much information on it. And as I said, Heather talks about that in the lessons so that students know why they're doing what they're doing. Great question. Another question, will this recording be sent out? Yes, after this, if you guys obviously all signed up, it will be sent out through EdWeb, and then we will also be posting it on our YouTube channel that you can watch. But if you do want to get your EdWeb credits, make sure you're watching it through EdWeb and utilizing their platform. How long does each lesson take? Can you adapt the graphic novelist to any subject? Great question. If you look in the lesson plans, each lesson has a video time. And since they are teacher paced, that video time is going to be pretty close to what the actual time is to complete the lesson. So you can follow those guides. They range from anywhere of 9 minutes, I'd say. I think there is one 20-minute lesson, but that's only a single lesson when they do the whole alphabet. So I'd say 9 to 15 minutes is about each lesson. And you can absolutely adapt graphic novelists to any subject. They can be writing a graphic novel on their science project and the problem that they were solving with characters and getting creative. The sky's the limit here with how you can utilize a graphic novelist to any subject. How much time do warm-ups take? They're really quick. They can just be a minute or two. As you saw, the one we did was a minute. Some lessons, Heather just dives right in, and other times she's just doing a quick wrist roll or a pencil movement, just different things. I also love to have my students do stuff like that before state testing to get their brain firing and make them awake. So I would totally utilize the warm-up lesson in the classroom before doing state testing. I think that's a great way to get their brains ready. Let's see. Does how they hold the pencil help? Yes, Heather goes over that. And she talks about why you're lifting up at certain parts, and then she really connects it. So you'll have to see it as it progresses through. But Heather definitely talks about all of these parts and how they impact your handwriting and how you can improve. And as I said, I'm a lefty. She does not forget about your left-hander students. She talks about the pushing and pulling from either hand. I'm seeing lots of questions. I think we're going to come back to questions because I want to make sure that the viewers get the pencil giveaway real quick. So let me quickly go to the next slide. We would love for you to commit to trying our lettering series. And if you're willing to commit, we would love to send you a class pack of Blackwing pencils. So right there is your QR code. You can fill out the contact form. That's how we get your address to mail you the pencils. And then we would love a follow on Facebook or Instagram to have you stay updated, or you could sign up for our newsletter through our website. You can also email us, hello@blackwingfoundation.org. We love seeing student work too. I know the day is busy and sometimes the last thing teachers do is take out their phone and snap a picture, but if you snap any photos, please send them our way. But this is our information here on how to get a class pack of pencils. And I think we have time to just take a couple more questions. Are we updating lessons over the year, or are they set groups? So we launch a whole pathway as one. We are, if we see something that needs updating, we definitely do that. But we when we launch a pathway, it is there in entirety. And so as I said, we've got more pathways coming out. We want to keep expanding the lettering series, the art series, and there's other series coming as well. Is it possible to create templates with each student's name for them to trace? Heather definitely goes into having the students take the letters from their name and practicing their name. I know in the cursive pathway, she does a name for every single capital letter in cursive. So definitely check that out. It will help them with that.
There's a question right here. It says, is there a foundational piece for teaching kindergarten to second grade?
Love that question. We don't currently have that within our programming, but it's definitely something we would love to know the need for and work towards providing to you guys, because we do know that it starts in kindergarten, especially with getting students holding their pencil correctly and starting their letters from the top down. So I love that question, and I will definitely take that feedback and see what we can do.
I have another question right here. It says, will it help my kindergarten students with basic lettering writing practice?
I would definitely say look at the lessons first. I think there are parts that could be utilized for that young of students, but just giving them the whole series might be a little overwhelming, and they might need it to be broken up, as in maybe you present the video to the whole class on a certain letter and Heather goes over it, and then you practice it on a worksheet all together. I just think it would need to be broken up a little bit different, but definitely look around. It's all there. It's all free. So utilize it how you feel like it should be best utilized. Let's see. I see some people want to fill out the contact form but don't have their phone. We're going to email blast you in a couple days with the information. So you will get the information on the pencil giveaway through that. So look for the email. And if you know other educators that are willing to try our pathways, we'll send them pencils too. So feel free to share our information. We would love, as I said, a follow for on social media or our newsletter in exchange for the pencils, but we also know your word of mouth and you doing it with your students is going to help spread the knowledge about pathways to creativity as well. Lastly, thank you so much for attending. Raegan, thank you so much. You were amazing. I can't believe how much knowledge and insight you shared with us. I hope our viewers enjoyed having a student on with us. So look, I see the love flying with lots of claps. So anything else you want to say, Raegan?
I would definitely do these courses that are fun. They don't take that much time, and your writing will definitely improve.
Amazing. Thank you so much, everybody. We will be in touch soon. And as I said, we are thankful for this community. And EdWeb, thank you for having us.